I can do this. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ann Gatty. I am here with you today to talk about effective time management strategies that won't make you crazy. And I am delighted to be with you to share 5 strategies. But before we begin, let's turn off all distractions. Let's turn off our cell phone or looking at our emails, looking at our social media. So before we begin, let's get ourselves focused on spending a good 25 minutes on some great information about designing effective time management strategies. So here's what you will learn in this presentation. Number 1, I'm going to share 5 strategies that, when implemented, will keep you laser focused on your vision, ignite your productivity, and provide more freedom to enjoy your life. Great idea, isn't it? And then the second thing that we want to accomplish is I'm going to share a simple mindset to provide a daily reminder about the importance of time. It costs absolutely nothing, yet 99% of business owners completely miss it. I think it's a real game changer, and I'll share it with you towards the end of our session. But first, let's get focused. And for your convenience, I've included a link for a workbook that is in the notes below. And you can use this workbook to follow along, write in your notes, or just follow along and keep your own notes, whichever works best for you. But we want to get started. And I'm going to talk first about a key point from this well-known author, Ernest Hemingway. He says, and I quote, "Today is only one day in all the days that will ever be. But what will happen in all the other days that ever come can depend on what you do today." So what happens today is going to have a huge impact on tomorrow and the following days. So it's important to remember that we need to use our time wisely, because we need to own our time. It's the most important commodity. You can make more money, you can make more friends, you can build a bigger business, but you can never make more time. When it's gone, and it never returns. So that's why I feel it's so important to talk about how we use our time well. Here's one thing that we want to keep in mind. Have you ever noticed that anyone working slower than you on the same task is wasting time, and anyone working faster is rushing? Well, what I want you to stop doing is worrying about what other people are doing, and let's get focused on ourselves and how we can use our time best as we're working with our businesses. So we want to remember these 2 rules. Make your work accurate. We want your work that you produce to be as accurate as possible, because we really don't want you to make mistakes that you then have to go back and correct. So make the work you produce accurate. And then the second is make the work you produce have impact. We want it to be purposeful. We want it to matter. We want it to be work that helps move your business forward. So it needs to be accurate and purposeful. That's how we're going to spend our time. So here are 5 time management strategies to get more done without making you crazy. And I do want to just say that there are benefits of implementing effective time management strategies. So let me just take a minute to do that here, go over those benefits for you, because as we look at the 5 time management strategies, we're doing this so that we can have less stress when our work is finished on time. We want to, number 2, get more done and reach goals quicker. Number 3, we want to have less rework. Number 4, less wasted time when focused on the goals. All of these 5 time management strategies are going to help us do this. We want less effort with work seeming to be easier because we're using automated processes. And 6, we want to be more organized in the way we do our work so that we are able to build in time for planning. So we don't want to always be under the gun of wondering about, are we getting this stuff done on time? We don't want to get trapped by the tyranny of the urgent. We want to be able to work purposefully, and we want to work efficiently and effectively. So here are 5 time management strategies. The first strategy is we want to start. You're wasting valuable time when you procrastinate. So you can't complete a task that you haven't started. So you need to start. Now, how are we going to do this effectively? When we're starting, we need to make sure that we declutter both our mind and our workspace. We don't want you anxious about what happens tomorrow. We don't want you worrying about what happened yesterday. We want to declutter our mind, not worrying about where we're taking the kids after we finish with our work. We don't want to worry about other appointments, personal appointments you might have scheduled, financial challenges you're dealing with. We really need you to declutter that mind, and at the same time, clean up that workspace so that you're not worrying about or being, distracted by other projects that are piled up on your desk, or you've got so many of your browser pages open, you're seeing all this other work that's out there. We want you focused on the project at hand. And that's the second point, is that you need to get focused. And you want to make certain that you're focused on what it is you want to accomplish. We don't want you overanalyzing, and we focus on one step at a time and building a sequence. We're being mindful, as we say. The third point is keeping our eyes on the prize. What is the goal we're working toward? It actually helps us start because we'll be motivated if we know what the end game is and we're motivated about accomplishing that goal. It's easier to start something you're looking forward to accomplishing than some drudge work. The next part of this is making sure, again, that we want to be accurate. So we're taking one step at a time. And we're just going to make sure that we accomplish one step before moving on to the next step. It's important to stay guided by your North Star. In other words, what is the trajectory we're working toward? What is the goal? How is this valuable for us? How does this bring purpose to our lives? All of that is important as you're starting any project. And the second strategy is to schedule your tasks. So look at this neat desk. Too many calendars, but it's a neat desk. Okay, when we're scheduling, think about always choosing tasks that by accomplishing today will move you closer to the goals you have set for yourself. So here's a question: what can be accomplished today to move us closer to our goals? The second thing is your calendar is your friend. In other words, we want you to write down everything that you plan to do for the day. It is your planning tool. It also should include the information about any other personal appointments that you have scheduled, because you want to be careful with time optimization, as we say. Time optimization is when you think you can get more done in less time and not giving yourself the adequate amount of time that you need to accomplish that task. Or maybe you thought you could get 8 hours of work in a day and you could accomplish everything, and neglected to realize that you have 2 dentist appointments for your kids, and that's going to take 3 hours out of that day, so you really only have 5 hours. So you just want to make sure you have your calendar accurately depicting what is going to be accomplished that day, or looking over the week and even the month. As you're scheduling, you need to break down your projects into bite-sized pieces. This is taking one step at a time, as we said when we start. And so you want to be able to accomplish that one piece before moving on to the next. It keeps you motivated, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment that you've actually completed something before moving on to the next piece. So you schedule, I'm going to get this much of the project done today or tomorrow, and then I will schedule the next part of the project after that, after I've accomplished the first step. So when you finish your day, it's always good to look back over your day, have an after-action review, and be able to plan for tomorrow. What exactly are you going to accomplish tomorrow based on what was done today? In that way, you're finishing your day, you're closing out your day, but you've already set up what you're going to come in for tomorrow. So it's really, really beneficial to plan for tomorrow. It's like having greased skids when you have everything scheduled, because you can just fly down these slopes and you know where it is you're going and you know what it is you have to accomplish. Okay, strategy number 3. We want you to stop. We want you to stop doing things that are unproductive or that do not move you forward as you're accomplishing your goals. So here, what does that look like? I've just told you to schedule, and now I'm telling you to stop. So what does that look like? Well, we want you to ask these 4 questions. First of all, what is taking you down a rabbit hole? What is taking you, all of a sudden, you went on social media, you went on Facebook for 5 minutes, you thought, boom, an hour goes by, and there you are, still on Facebook. Or maybe you were doing some research for a project, you're working with a client, and so you were looking at a couple of articles, and there were those links in those articles, so suddenly you're reading those, and yeah, it's a really nice, some additional information that can be useful, but not at this time. Stop, bookmark those links, and get back to, being focused on what it is you're trying to accomplish. And stop allowing yourself to go down a rabbit hole. Be very conscious that there is a rabbit hole and you don't want to go down there. The second thing about stopping is, as you're looking over, you've looked over your after-action review, or you've looked over, from the day before, and you've looked over maybe the week or the month, and you see that you spent a lot of time on some initiatives that have no return on investment. They are not helping you bring in extra revenue. So what is it that you're doing that you should stop doing? Are there particular projects you thought, gee, this would be really great, I'd love to offer this to my clients, and I'm working and working and working, and it's not getting me anywhere, where maybe I should stop doing that? Or maybe I should stop something simpler, and I'm doing all this filing rather than, and because really what I'm doing is procrastinating. I don't want to start a project. So, I'm doing all this filing. I need to stop that. I need to stop procrastinating and get to work on my projects. It may be that you need to think about, what can you delegate? What are things that I should stop doing and let somebody else do? I should let somebody else do the filing. I should let somebody else do the bookkeeping. I should hire a virtual assistant that does a lot of my administrative tasks or keeps up with my website. The next and last thing I have for stopping the question to ask yourself is, what should I stop doing that I am doing manually that I should automate? So what can I automate that would save me time and stop my manual work? And that might be how you're scheduling appointments. It may be how you are keeping track of your mileage. Any number of things that you can automate with apps that would save you time, energy. It's really important to think about, as we're moving forward and improving technology, there are things that are time savers, and we need to include those in our work processes. So what happens if you don't stop doing things that don't move you toward your goals? Your business gets stuck. Have you ever noticed, because you only have so many hours in the day, how important it is that you use not only your time wisely, but you spend your time on high productive or high payoff activities. And by doing this, you need to not be doing things that you need to stop doing things, obviously, that are time wasters for you, because then you can't be productive with your clients. You can't help add new clients because you've already taken up all your time. You're doing your bookkeeping and you're doing your administration. Stop doing those things. Delegate those, automate those. You have more time to grow your business. So that's what happens when you revise your tasks to focus on accomplishing your goals. Your business improves step by step. And that's what we're looking for here. We want you to improve step by step. So here's my fourth strategy for you. We want you to create systems, because a plan is only as good as its implementation. So here are four systems, strategies, systems that you can put in place. The first is you want to write down what it is you're doing. Most people have ways in which they do their work, but fail to write down these sequential steps that they're using. So others can follow the same process consistently. If you're hiring somebody to take over some of these tasks, if they know what it is that you've done and how you've done it, they can follow the same procedures. An example of this would be an operations manual, which is your business playbook. And it's really simply the detailed instructions, the detailed directions on how you do what you do. So you really want to write those things down, and then you have consistency. You want to document best practices because, and I want to say that you want to document best practices right now, because as technology improves, your practices, the way you do things will change. So you need to update any of those changes. If you have somebody coming in and has a different way of doing things, maybe they can update their changes into your operating manual, but you want to make sure, first of all, everything is documented. You want to make sure that you're documenting your best practices and update changes as they occur, because all operating functions can be systematized. The way you answer the phone, the way you make your sales calls, the way you handle email, the way you return correspondence, the way you set up your marketing practices, all of these things, the way you work with your clients, how you, your intake files, how you work with your CRM, everything you are doing has a system, because a system is the way you do things. But we want you to write these things down, and a lot of times when I'm working with clients, that is the biggest failing, is that they haven't written things down. And then when they go to hire, they don't have things in writing, and they spend a lot of time bringing people on board because they have to show them how they've done the stuff, rather than if they had it in writing, people would have like a training manual they could use. The fifth strategy, now that I've told you about systems, is we want to keep things simple. So what do I mean by simplifying? I mean that you're going to start your day as a Luddite. In other words, you're not coming in and jumping onto the email. You're not coming in and just getting right into your technology. You're going to sit down and you're going to look at what you said you were going to accomplish today based on what happened yesterday, and get yourself set. The thing about simplifying as well is you've got your processes. That's one way to simplify. But the other way is to really take advantage of your mindset and how your mind is working, and you want to batch your work tasks. You want to be making sure that if you are working on some marketing initiatives, you're finishing some client reports, and you're doing correspondence, that you want to make, if you can, we want to batch and do all the marketing initiatives together, so that your mind, as it's thinking about marketing and marketing strategies, it's staying focused on that. If you're working with client projects, you want to make sure that you're staying on your client service. And then, if you're doing correspondence or whatever, you want to be doing that together, that you batch your correspondence at one time, all those tasks, so that your mind isn't doing mental gymnastics and isn't trying to jump from marketing to correspondence to client service to marketing to client service to correspondence, returning phone calls, any of those things. You want to batch that as best you can. Now, it doesn't always work that way because of appointments that you have, but however, you can try and batch similar tasks together. You will find you'll be more efficient in how you get things done. The next thing about simplifying is that you want to focus on top 3 urgent tasks. At the end of the day, what are the top priorities you absolutely have to accomplish? I'm not asking you to eat a frog and get the most difficult thing done first. What I'm asking you to do is just know that at the end of my workday, I want to be able to turn off the light knowing that I've accomplished these 3 must-have tasks. And that is a way to simplify. If you get other stuff done, great, but at least you know you've gotten these urgent tasks completed. And the other thing about simplifying, first of all, you know, you've batched your work tasks, you're getting those made projects, that the tasks done that you have to. But think about it, as you're building that business and as you're looking day to day and reviewing each day as you're moving along, what is it that you can outsource? If your urgent tasks are taking up the majority of the day and you're trying to serve your clients, you're creating new products that you're putting out there, whatever it is, or maybe you're the marketing guru and that's your your main talent, what you can outsource becomes a question, because you want to not spend your time doing things on low payoff activities. You want to get that to somebody else. And that way, that frees up your time to using your best talents, and also increase your revenue streams by using your talent most effectively. And that should be everybody that you're working with. What is it they should not be doing? What is it that you can outsource? Bookkeeping is a good example. Social media is a good example. Website maintenance is a good example. Those are all things that can outsource. Hiring a VA, that's another way you can outsource. But think about that, because you want to keep things simple so that allows you to be as creative as possible. So those are the 5 strategies, and we want you to use these strategies to move forward. But don't forget to invest in yourself. Don't forget that your number 1 client is your business. And a lot of times, as we're building out our businesses, we're working with others, we forget. That's why we forget to take care of our own business. We forget that we're our own client, in that we need to carve out time that we can spend on our marketing or outsourcing or delegating, ways in which we can work better. We need to take action, because we're looking at your long-term dream and we want to make it a reality. Now, the second point I wanted to bring out, aside from the 5 strategies, is what is the mindset that keeps us motivated? And it really is 2 simple words: carpe diem. And this means seize the day. Make this day count, as Ernest Hemingway had said. You want to seize the day, but you want to put little trust in tomorrow, because really the future is unforeseen. So we don't want to leave anything to chance, but rather do what you can today to ensure a better future. So make today matter. Carpe diem doesn't mean to ignore the future, but don't assume that everything is going to fall into place. We want you to act today to build your tomorrow. So carpe diem. 99% of people business owners don't realize that. They're always looking towards tomorrow. They're looking out in the future, but don't waste the day today to get stuff done. So we want to be a part of building something epic. That's the other thing about building a business. And if you have the mindset that today matters, you want to keep your team focused, results driven, but please, if it's purposeful and if you've got that North Star you're working towards, make it as fun as possible. Enjoy the day, enjoy the journey. You know, this is a great time to be in business, and we want you to enjoy the journey. Take part with today, with Carpe Diem. Make sure you know what today is all about, because, you know, to really, you're in this to build out your future, and we want you to have fun doing that. We want you to enjoy feeling like you've made a difference and that you matter, because it's always about time. It's the one commodity you can never increase. So if you have information, want more information about us, visit our website, strategicpeoplesolutions.com. Again, this is Dr. Ann Gatty, and you can find me. You can always email me at ann@strategicpeoplesolutions.com. Leave comments below. We love hearing from you. Answer those questions